WeatherScope.
Well, the Northeast calms down after the most recent winter storm, but in some areas you should prepare for a blanket of snow when you wake up on Sunday. We'll explain in our forecast. Good evening, I'm Christine Abernathy.
And I'm Sharon Resulton. We're also going to have a live report on Super Bowl 32 in San Diego. That's kind of neat. A bit later we'll do that, but we begin with the Northeast. And I know you had some rain overnight and through the morning hours in Boston. Over 2 inches were recorded, even though the rain diminished to just drizzle later in the day. But be on the lookout for snow accumulation by Sunday morning. We're going to have the full details in your forecast just a bit later. The road conditions today in downtown Portland, Maine were, in a word, messy. If you had to be out in the slush today, it was not an easy journey. These conditions are not as bad as sleet or freezing rain, but the roads can still be very, very slippery. So take care if travel is in your plans. And might I add that as we head on into parts of Maine, we are seeing a little bit of freezing rain. So watch it around the Bangor area and also heading on up toward Caribou. Both those spots have seen some significant freezing rain and therefore significant icing can be expected. Now the bulk of that moisture is moving on out. That's the good news, but we do have another system that's going to be spreading on eastward, and that one is going to mean a shot at some snow for you in parts of New England. Feast your eyes quickly on the temperatures, and we're finding that some of these readings are slowly heading down the scale. So areas that are starting out with some rain are going to end up with some snow by morning. Where we have had the coolest air, that's where it was pretty much an all-snow event with this last system that moved through, and that produced, in some cases, anywhere between 6 to 12 inches of brand new snow. Notice that a lot of that falling some of the ski resorts, so folks, the skiers there, are very, very happy. The freezing rain continues across northern and eastern Maine. That's associated with our disturbance that's moving on out. This moisture is due to another disturbance that's moving on in, and we're finding generally a snow event here. I was checking around the Trenton area, a little bit of snow there. Heading down towards Salisbury, Maryland, it's a rain event right now, but around Baltimore, it's been snow, and same around D.C. Rain in Philly, but that may be changing over, and generally we're looking at a shot of some light snow measuring up on the ground by tomorrow morning. So some of you folks may have to get the shovels out once more and contend with that. Some of this will be changing to snow later around Boston, Hartford, New York City, maybe the northern suburbs, seeing some accumulating snows there. So keep your eyes out for that if you're traveling throughout the evening and on into the overnight. We have had some heavier bursts of snow around Avoca, Pennsylvania. So there is a small band there where you might find maybe 3 to 6 inches accumulating. Most other areas just picking up maybe a couple of inches. There's a look at the radars, and you can see how all the moisture is advancing on northward. And even as we head on southward around Richmond, we have had a little bit of sleet mixing in with the rain. What's going on out west? Christina will fill you in.
Well, it seems the Northwest can't get a break from rain and wind, and today is no exception. Seattle and Portland received more rain today, and high winds buffeted the coast. Let's check on those current conditions, and here's what we see. We've got plenty of cloud cover there as one system moves on into the northwest and sort of weakens. We're still dealing with some showery conditions, and you will have a bit of a break here until the next system moves in tomorrow afternoon, and with that you'll have more rain and more wind. Another area we're watching is here through the Dakotas, where you're not only getting snow, also getting some icy conditions. That's what the orange indicates here. So be careful if you're going to be out and about tonight. Remember that it doesn't take much ice to cause problems out there on the roads, and it's certainly going to be a chilly night and an icy night, just a messy night. Good night to stay indoors. Northwest, the system continues to move on in and sort of weaken, but we still have that onshore flow. We still have some moisture in place, and you're still dealing with a bit of wet weather here, western Washington and Oregon, and on into northern California. We're also dealing with some fog here in southern California, so take it extra slow out there if you're going to be out here. Around Seattle right now, not dealing with a great deal of rain, not a lot of widespread rain here in western Washington or western Oregon, but you are dealing with a bit of scattered shower activity here as we head along I-5 back towards Portland and Salem, and around Portland back towards the Dalles. We can see some of that wet weather. So sort of showery conditions tonight, diminishing, and you'll have a break tomorrow early in the day. But then as we head through the latter parts of the day, you will see the rain on the increase once again, and the wind too. Winds not quite as strong now as they were earlier today, but still a bit breezy around Seattle, and again some wet weather as well. Snow as we head through the Cascades. Looks like the heaviest amounts in the higher elevations there, 3 to 6 inches. Sharon?
Well, we are going to take you now into Well, I guess we're not going to go back to San Diego. Instead, okay, we're going to take you on into your forecast, and let's go ahead back to Christina.
All right, here we go into your Sunday low temperatures. It's going to be chilly out there, so bundle up. In the